Marvel announced that they were going to do a Werewolf by Night adaptation like a year ago, maybe a year or two ago, when they announced Phase 4. And
did they announce
I feel like
at that conference? Because I thought like, it just dropped the trailer like randomly like a couple of weeks ago.
I feel like there was...
I don't remember ever hearing about this thing before the trailer dropped.
I remember hearing it around the same time that I knew they were developing a Moon Knight show. I just didn't know if it would like what it was going to be. Like no one knew if it was going to be a show or a movie or whatever. But
it's neither,
because it's neither. Yeah, it's because it's kind of an unknown property. I think what Marvel is trying to do with their lesser known properties is, the ones that they don't. It's only happened the one time, right? Like we only have one so far. But there's a rumor that Nova is supposed to be a limited, like a special presentation too, and that's like set in space. And there's the Nova Corps who we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy. But there's a specific hero in Marvel called Nova, and he's just like, the main guy, the face of the Nova Corps, I guess. I don't know. It's very Green Lantern-esque, so we'll see how that goes if that gets announced ever. But this special is directed by Michael Giacchino, who is famously a composer for movies like Up, Ratatouille, Spider-Man, like the Far From Home, Homecoming trilogy, the Incredible soundtrack. He did the soundtrack for the show Lost. So he's a very credited composer, but he is the director here. And he also did the music, obviously. But he is directing this special presentation, and it's filmed in black and white. It is an homage to the Universal Monsters collection. Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
No, it's just Marvel Studios presents the Wolfman. That's what we're doing
pretty
much.
But yeah, the story follows it's sort of a continuation of the supernatural side of the MCU, where eventually we're going to meet Blade and Ghost Rider and Mephisto and these characters that have to do with evil magic and monsters and stuff like that.
Dude, I can't believe who they got for Mephisto. Holy shit.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, man. I mean, it's going to be cool. But we're introduced to the Bloodstone family. I only knew about Elsa Bloodstone because of a Marvel mobile game that I played a couple years ago, Marvel Future Fight. Shout out to Netmarble. And she is a monster hunter who gets invited to this hunt, I guess, being held by the patriarch of the Bloodstone family who passes away. And the Bloodstone, this gem that's the namesake of the family, and has supernatural properties that makes it so that monsters can't touch it. I don't know what it does exactly. But it's a very interesting concept for a short. It kind of feels like a very condensed movie. Like you jump right into the plot. Like there's no exposition. I feel like if there was a movie, there might have been a whole like half hour where we're getting introduced to the main guy, Jack, and like the family, and maybe you see like the funeral or whatever. But it just cuts right to the action, like the middle part of a movie. And so pros and cons with that, obviously you get into the action pretty early on. You get to the fun. There's not a whole lot of fat to trim. But on the other side, there's also not really a whole lot of character development, which I guess at this point doesn't really matter, but you get a little bits. First of all, what did you think about Jack, the werewolf in question?
I mean, I thought they were all kind of fine. I was not expecting there to be a secondary monster in the form of a mini Cthulhu.
Yeah, Man-Thing. Which gets compared to Swamp Thing from DC a lot because they both look very similar. But yeah, Man Thing, aka Ted.
Teddy.
Teddy. He's like, they find he's probably the most interesting character in this show because he's not like, he doesn't speak, but Jack, the main character, can still understand him. We don't know what their history is, but they're friends.
Yeah.
And Jack calls him Ted. So at some point, Man Thing must have been able to communicate to Jack like, hey, my name is Ted. So I don't know anything about Man Thing. But yeah, he's just able to grab people and like disintegrate them. What the fuck was that about?
That's hardcore.
Yeah, he disintegrates a dude's head. He grabs the dude by his head and then it just melts and like explodes.
And then the lady at the end too.
Yeah, that was kind of a cool moment.
Yeah,
like a Deus Ex Machina, like everything kind of works out.
Two standout moments. The first one was when he was transforming into the werewolf. And you can see Lady
Elsa,
like terrified by the bar, and you can see like it's like flashing, and you see him transforming through the light in the back. I thought that was sick. And second of all, when there was like a door closing, and he was like slicing dudes apart, and like the blood was like getting onto the camera. That was really cool.
Yeah, there's also a lot of blood in this show. I feel like they're able to get away with it because it was in black and white. That might be part of it. But like, there are 2 times where a character gets dismembered and they get thrown around, and you could see the blood coming from like their dismembered, like arm or whatever, like splatter. And I'm like, that's sick. That's really cool.
Yeah, like someone's arm gets taken off, and like it like kind of like does a spin because they like spin the arm, and it just like shoots like a sprinkler.
Yeah, and I was like, when I saw that, I was like, whoa. And I had seen the scene where Jack the werewolf, where he's just like taking out those dudes in like the hallway. It's very reminiscent of like a hallway fight from Daredevil, where it's like the camera is static and there's just a lot of like motion on screen.
Fuck, dude! Next episode I gotta talk about She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about She-Hulk next episode.
That's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah, but yeah, I what did you think about the end? Where so the whole like the whole, I don't even want to call it a movie. The whole time, the only thing on screen, the only object on screen that's in color is the Bloodstone, which is colored red, which is cool. I also like the effects, the special effects that they use to indicate the power of the Bloodstone. It's very like, I don't know how to describe it, but if you've ever seen like lightning in like an 80s movie, like that's special effects, it looked a lot like that, where it was like vintage special effects used, like when the Bloodstone is being used to transform Jack into the werewolf. It comes out like lightning. It's like, but it doesn't look like good CGI. It looks like very campy, like 80s, like 70s CGI. It's very cool. How it fits the format of black and white. But anyway, you get to the end of the special, and slowly everything starts to fade back into like full color, and then you get a scene at the end where Ted and Jack are, having escaped the compound where this hunting ceremony is happening. They're just camping out, and Ted gets to chat with, Jack, and he's like, what are you talking about? I'm the one that came to your rescue, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a line about Jack is like, oh, dude, I can't even think about food right now. Don't. But yeah, I'll get sushi. And I was like, sushi? That's weird. That's a weird little line, but yeah, I thought that was cool. Just like slowly how everything, faded into color. And apparently the Man Thing like used practical effects. Like they built the entire like upper part of his body like out of practical effects. I don't know I'd have to find the photo, but it looks really cool. It looks really intricate. He's got little mushrooms growing out of his shoulders and stuff.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, hey, let's CGI Mr. Fantastic's suit, because why not?
Yeah, it just goes to show. I mean, maybe it's the fact that this is like a shorter format, but yeah, I really liked it. I really liked Werewolf by Night. I would definitely watch it again. It's definitely like it's a short and sweet like Halloween time thing to watch. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it even sets the tone like where you start it up, and like recently Marvel's been doing this thing where they alter the opening theme song. And how they did it this time was it starts in color, and then like there's like a slash on the screen, and then it goes into black and white, and then like the sound is like an old like time horror like orchestra, you know, and then there's like another slash, and then they even have they have a title card at the end of the short that looks like a movie title card from like the 20s where it says, you know, Marvel Studios Werewolf by Night, and then it has like the Roman numeral like the MMXX, you know, like to, I don't know, it's very overtly an homage to like the old Universal movies, and I think there's a charm to it that I honestly don't think any of the Marvel shows or Disney Plus Marvel things have been able to capture, except maybe WandaVision. But yeah, so like overall, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it too. I actually just kind of wish there was more to it, because it is just like this. It's like 48 minutes minus the credits, you know.
Yeah.
Like it ends really abruptly, which the old movies used to do that too. Like the climax was the end, and the whole epilogue was like a line or two, and then the end pops up. And it's like, wow, that ended quickly. This is no exception. So I'm assuming that's exactly why they did it like that too, since this entire thing is just kind of, oh, let's go back to the 40s.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I liked it a lot. I'm definitely gonna watch it again. I think I'm gonna try to show like my mom, because I don't think she's not a big horror movie person, but I was telling her that me and you were gonna watch it, and she was like, "What's that?" You know, always judgmental. My mom is always judgmental when I mention like a show or a thing to her, but she'll still watch it anyway. And if it's anime, she'll disregard it entirely. But if it's something superhero related, oh fuck, do we have to see Black Adam?
Yeah.
We gotta talk about Black Adam,
I suppose,
too.
Yeah. Gotta see Black Adam.
Yeah, all right, we got our work cut out for us. So, anyway.
We gotta see Orange Anthony.
Orange Anthony?
Green Brian, yeah.
Yeah. White David.
Oh, dude, it's fucking racist.
Sorry, Polish David.
Good. Co to powiedział?
Co to powiedział? So anyway, Werewolf by Night, a solid 3 out of 5. I know we've never ranked anything out of 5 before, but it feels right.
Yeah, I give it like a 9 out of 13, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.